everyone. I am so happy to be bringing another tutorial to Splitcoaststampers today. My name is Beth Rush from Beth's Paper Cuts, and I love Splitcoast for its massive gallery and its huge amount of tutorials. So if you haven't been to a lot of Splitcoast tutorials before or their website, please check it out. The tutorial resources are just huge. So today I am bringing you a card based on the idea of Kintsugi. Kintsugi is a Japanese word, which I hope I didn't butcher. I listened to how to say it many times, so I'm hoping I did pretty good. But it's called that. What it means is golden joinery, and it's finding beauty in the broken. And this is an art form in Japan, but it's also a philosophy in that when you're finding beauty in the broken pottery, it's saying you still have value, you still have worth after you've been broken. So they like to make their pottery, put it back together again, and continue to use it. And rather than try really hard to mask where the crack is and make it so that you can't see it, they intentionally bring that crack out so that it can be seen by joining it all together and then dusting it with either gold or silver or platinum so that it shines and is very visible. And it's really just pretty if you've ever seen some pottery, and you can Google that.
Here are two that I found, and there are a lot more that you can see online.
So I'm going to try to find a way to make this in paper, and so here's what I came up with, a few different samples, and then we're going to make one together. This one you can see has these cracks in the paper, and then I've joined them back together with gold. Here's another version. And another version, you can see the golden cracks. This one I did a tiny little bit on this pottery. It doesn't show as much. I know it's there. Sometimes I make things just for myself, so I know it's there. The person I'm giving it to might not, but it's really cute. And then here's the one we're going to make together. So it's really actually quite simple, but I think stunning. And if you know someone who's maybe going through something, you can send them a thinking of you or a sympathy or something, and on the inside, just, you know, you can even write that, you know, I know that you're feeling broken right now, or, you know, you're feeling like you're really going through it, but you're going to make it, and you'll come out in the end better than before. So let's make this card. Now I'm grabbing a piece of pattern paper. I'm doing kind of a blue and white because I was looking through some of the pottery, and a lot of pottery that I saw was blue and white, Japanese pottery, ancient pottery, and you don't have to do that though. As you saw in some of my samples, you can pick any pattern that you think is nice for this project. A small pattern works better, I found, and a darker pattern works better because you really want that metallic to shine through. And like I said, you can use silver, gold, different colors. So I'm going with this blue, and I'm going to tear it, and I'm realizing that I need to be careful where I tear, because I don't want mine has animals on it. So I don't want to tear it and cut off an animal. So I'm going to think about that while I'm tearing. Now you don't want to just tear, because sometimes when you tear something really fast, you get that wide, I'll just show you. Funny, I've got these little snowmen in my drawer. So if you go really fast, you've got this wider fuzzed edge, and while you can still use that, it'll just be easier to use something that's not so fuzzed out. Now another thing I want to point out is when you tear towards you like this, you've got this side that doesn't have that white inner side and one side that does. So you can kind of play around with that a little bit too, but we're using both sides, so we have to really think about it. So if you keep your thumbs close together when you're tearing, that fuzzed out white edge is going to be more minimal than if you were just to go like, ooh, if you were to just kind of go fast, you'll get that big fuzzed edge. So just kind of keep your thumbs close together while you're tearing so that you don't get that. I'm avoiding the little animal. And you're just going to tear it into several pieces. On one of my samples, I felt like I teared it and it looked too much like a curtain, like a window curtain, and I don't want to distract from what's trying to go on here. So think about when you're tearing it, what it looks like. Oops, I went a little fast there. That fuzzy edge, that's okay. We can get rid of it. Okay. So I think 4 pieces is good. 3 or 4 is a good amount. I've got my base here, and these pieces are just to mount and for the inside and the sentiment, so I'll show you those in a bit. So now you're going to kind of lay these out and think about, you don't have to do gold on both sides. So think about how they go together and what side's going to go on top. Like I'm thinking that this side with that fuzzed out edge is going to be more difficult to get a nice emboss on. So I'm going to put the embossing on this side. Okay, and then same thing, I'm going to put the embossing on this one, and I'm going to put the embossing on this one, so I don't need to do this top. All right, so this one doesn't get any embossing. Yay. And let's see, I think I'll put it only on the bottom half there. Okay, so now you've got your plan by looking at your pieces of what you need to emboss. So then you're just going to grab your versamark. Okay, so I'm going to take it, and you're going to use it your pad, like instead of stamping on it, you're going to kind of red. Now don't go like this, because you want this repair to be nice and tidy. And so you're just going to kind of dab it onto the edge. Now I shouldn't say that you want, because you might want a big thick repair. It's up to you. You can do that. That'll look pretty too, so I shouldn't say that. However you like it. Okay, like so. That one needed to be done, and I think I wanted to do this one. Another way to get versamark on here is if you put a little, if you have a re-inker bottle like this, and you can put a little drop onto a little block or something, you can use a paintbrush and apply the versamark. Don't use a paintbrush you love, and because it's kind of got an oil to it, and you don't want to ruin your paintbrush, but it's an easy way. I think this way is pretty good though. All right, so I'm going to do those 2 before I go on. So I'm just going to dip this into your embossing powder. Like so, and then we're going to heat it up. I need to go all the way up. Okay, I think I got all my pieces that I need done. So now I'm going to mount them onto a piece of basic white, just because I really think that there's a lot of dark going on my card. So the nice thing about this tutorial is that you can use any size paper that you like and make it your own. While I'm gluing these down, I thought I would mention that I played with the idea of not even bother tearing the paper and just using a paintbrush with my Versamark refill and seeing if I could draw lines, tear lines, and you can, it totally works. But for some reason, I think it's just not quite good enough. I wonder if it's because it's too perfect or you don't see the raised, torn kind of look. and it was just didn't feel torn enough to me. So I don't know, something about it. I think maybe because these are just slightly askew, or maybe you don't line up your flowers 100% perfectly, that somehow that gives it more of a realistic feel of torn. And I really wanted to get across the tornness of it, the brokenness of it, and not have it just be lines. And so while that can be done, I do think this way it has a little better feel to it. So now you're just lining these up, and you can put them straight onto the card base itself rather than do this. All right, so this is the next one. So this one has to be the last one down because it's got gold on both edges. There we go. Almost done. I like using the liquid glue to put this down just because I think you might need a little wiggle room there. Okay. Now, as far as sentiments go, I think a thinking of you, a sympathy, stuff like that works great for this card. You might have to go in and touch some of these corners. All right. Got a little excess glue there. I'll get that with my little glue eraser in a little bit. Okay, so we've got our base, and then now all we're going to do is put it down onto a card front. So I thought I would pop this up a little bit, give it a little bit more height, and so I think it adds some dimension to the card. We've already got a lot going on there just with that background, so you can just add any sentiment you like, even just a stamped sentiment on a circle or a little flagged piece of cardstock is great. I think this is really pretty on its own, but I'm going to add a little bit of baker's twine. I wanted some more white on here. I've got a lot of dark, and then my sentiment. So let me all right, so I'm going to tie a bow. Right. And then I wanted to add just a little leaf that kind of goes with this. So I'm just going to add some extra embellishments to mine. I've got this little piece of cardstock here, and I thought I would do a gold embossed leaf. All right, now because of my paper, I'm going to put, I don't want to cover this little guy, so I'm going to put it on this side this time. Last time when I was making this, I had to put it on that side to not cover that little fox. Too funny. So if you pick a pattern that maybe doesn't have anything you care about covering, all right. I think I will see if this fits. Yes, thinking of you, and I'm going to do, why not? I'm going to emboss it. Okay, I've got my sentiment. I'm going to make it a little smaller. And attach it right there. There we go. I hope you like my Kintsugi inspired card. And here are the others. I hope that you'll give it a try. These cards and hopefully more will be in the Split Coast Stampers gallery under this tutorial. And if you make one, we hope you share it. Thanks for watching.